Hello everyone and welcome back. So today we are going to be building this pagination here. I'm going to show you how to create beautiful pagination with React Query. Alright, and as you can see, this is the final project. And if I click page 2, as you can see here, we not see any loading in this card here, right? That's really cool. As you can see here, the loading is just right here, on the right side. As you can see down here. And that is pretty cool. If we already open the page, for example, we already open the page 4, 3, 2, and then 1, right? If I go back, that's really fast. This is crazy fast. And I love that so much because as you can see here, to use that is really simple. I'm going to show you how to do that. And also we are going to fetch the real data come from the JSON placeholder, okay? And we are going to use this post route here. And also to basically use the pagination we can see right here. Okay, we can add params called _page and also the limit here. Okay, so yeah, that's what we are going to learn. So let's jump to the VS Code. All right, so the first thing is we need to create a folder. I'm going to create a folder called, let's say, pagination React Query, and I'm going to cd to the folder. Let's say cd pagination should be pagination -react -query. Okay, so inside in here I'm going to generate React with feed. So let's go to feed here, let's click get start, and I'm going to use the template React. So let's do npm create, let's say create feed, and then lettuce. And I'm going to use for the application name, I just want to render in the current folder, so we can say // and also we are going to use template. Let's say template. I'm going to use React down here. Okay, so we can say React. Just hit enter and wait. Okay, this has happened because as you can see here, this is just work for npm 6.x, and we have npm version. Let's see, npm -version. We have version 8, right? That's why we need to add this -- symbol right here. So let's do that again. And we are going to add the -- here. So let's do like so. And of course we need to add space and hit enter. And here we go. Okay. So now we can say npm install to install all the dependency. All right. So let's open that into the Visual Studio Code, and let's open the terminal here, and we can say npm run dev. Should be open the localhost 5173, and this is what we have. So now let's set up everything. I'm going to close the terminal, and I'm going to remove the asset here, the app CSS. Let's remove all of that. And we are going to click the, let's go to index CSS here. I'm going to remove all the content. Let's go to app here. And also I'm going to remove all div here inside the class name app. And I just want to say h1, let's say app here. So let's remove the class name. And also we need to remove the use state here, and also everything, everything up here. All right, so now what we need to do is let's install Tailwind, because we are going to use Tailwind. So let's go to components here, not component, I think. You can go to the docs here, and let's select the framework, and we are going to use feed, right? So we need to copy this command here, and let's go back. Let's click Control C, and we are going to paste the command here. Let's hit enter. All right, it's done. Now we have the Tailwind config here. So let's go back, and we are going to copy this content here. Copy that and paste that into the Tailwind config here. Okay, and also now we need to copy the Tailwind base component and utilities, and we need to paste that into the CSS right here. Okay, so I think we're done. Let's just copy this h1. Just make sure this is working. Let's go back to app.jsx here. Let's put the h1 right here, just like that. Okay, we have the text 3XL. The font, it should be bold and also underlined. So let's do npm run dev here, and it should be work, I believe. Let's refresh. Oh, it's not working. Oh, because we don't save that. Let's save, and as you can see, this is working. So now let's go to the Daisy UI, and what we need to do is let's install the Daisy UI. So this is just for making everything look great. Let's go to the components here and go to the install. And what we need to do is let's just copy this plugin here. Let's copy that. Go to the Tailwind config, and we need to just put the Daisy UI right here. So everything is done now. So we can say npm run dev again and just close the terminal. All right. So let's go back here. So now we are going to create all the components that we need, and after that we are going to install the this one, okay, the React query. So let's first, I'm going to create let's do pages folder inside the source. I'm going to say pages, and inside the pages here I'm going to create file. Let's do product. All right, so let's generate RFCE, and now we can import the products into the app here. So let's remove the h1, this one, and I'm going to render the products here just like that. So let's go to products here, and I'm going to remove the text. Yeah, and also inside in here I'm going to put h1, and let's say pagination here. All right, let's add some styling in here. So I'm going to do maximal width. I'm going to set that to 4XL. Okay, and also the mx, let's say auto to make it let's say mx to make it center basically. All right, for the pagination, let's add some class name here, and it's going to be text center. Okay, and also the text, it should be to XL, and also the margin vertically I'm going to set that to 5, and I'm going to give a underline just to make it a little bit nicer. And also the font, it should be bold, just like that. Okay, so now let's see what we have. This one, okay, that's cool. The font bold is not working, so let's do bold here. All right, cool. So in here we are going to render the product list. So let's create the product list inside a components folder. So I'm going to do components. All right, so inside the components folder I'm going to create a file called, let's say, product list. Okay, let's say .jsx. Okay, so here we can say rfce, and we can render the product list inside in here. So we can say product list. Okay, just like that. And here I'm going to just create a demi data for now. I just want to create an array called products. Let's say products. So now we need to send the products array into the product list. So we can say products set equals to products, and we can grab the products inside the product list component. So we can do structuring here. So we can say products like so. So now let's remove this product list, and basically I'm going to add a grid here. So let's do class name set equals to, should be grid, and also the gap I'm going to set that to 4, and also for the medium I'm going to set that to grid template column. Let's do I think grid columns. Okay, and I'm going to say to, let's say 3. Right, so inside in here I'm going to map through all the products array. Let's say .map, and I'm going to grab the individual product, and in here I'm going to return a card. Okay, the card is basically come from the Daisy UI. So let's scroll down and let's click the card here. I'm gonna use, I forget that, but maybe this one. Let's click the JSX, and I'm going to copy all this styling and put that right here. Okay, let's make it look nice. And also for the width I'm gonna set that to full. Let's say full, and let's try to save now, and let's see what we have. Okay, that's pretty cool. And I'm going to remove the button, we don't need that as well. Okay, and also here for the title we are going to render the product.title, of course. Let's do product.title, and for the body here you can put the product.body. So let's do product.body. And also basically I'm going to add some ID here. So let's put right here. This is going to be just p tag, and I'm going to say hashtag here, and let's say post. This is going to be post, let's say product.id. Okay, we have post 1, post 2, post 3, and post 4. All right, and this is going to be responsive, guys, as you can see. All right, the UI is done, I think. Oh yeah, we need to add the pagination down here, right? So let's go back to products. So in here, I'm going to create a div. Okay, I'm going to say a class name called flex, and this is going to be the item, let's say center, and also the justify content. It should be space between. So let's say justify between. Okay, and also I'm going to add the margin vertically to 5. And also here, as you can see, if we have, for example, it's going to be the pagination, and we have also down here for the loading. So let's remove that. Let's say, let's say loading. And when I save, and as you can see, the pagination should be in the left and loading it should be in the right. So let's create the pagination component here. So let's say pagination.jsx. And here we can say RRFCE, and also basically we can go back to the Daisy UI. Let's search for the pagination. All right, this one. So let's click that, and I'm gonna use the simple one here. Okay, just this one. Let's click that, and I'm going to copy. Let's go back and just paste that in here. Okay, just like that. So now we should be able to see our pagination. Oh, no. Yeah, that's because we don't yet import that, right? Let's go back here, and we need to import the pagination right here. So we can say pagination. Okay, so now we have the pagination here. All right, and also the loading here, I just want to create another component called, let's do loading spinner.jsx. And here we can say RRFCE, and also what I'm gonna do, I just want to copy and paste my code right here. Okay, so we have this is basically just SVG, guys, with loading. All right, so let's save, and I'm going to put that also inside the products here. So let's remove the H1, and I'm gonna put the pagination, not pagination, but loading spinner, right? Let's save, and we should be able to see the spinner loading here. All right, everything is set up now. Hope you still follow along, guys. And now we need to install the React query. Okay, so let's go to the Tanstack Query, and we need to go to the installation here. So let's click that, and we need to install this Tanstack/React query. So we can just copy that and go back to VS Code, and we need to just paste the command right here. All right, it's done. So we can say npm run dev again. Should be start the localhost here, and we can close this one. All right, so now I just want to close everything so you don't see any confusing, because we have a lot of tab, right? So now what we need to do is let's go to the main.jsx. So let's go back to the browser first. So basically now what we need to do is let's import the query client provider. Okay, so let's go back to the main, and in here we should wrap our app here with query client provider. So we can say query client provider. Okay, just like that. And we need to put our app here inside in here. Okay, just like that. And also we need to create the query client. So we can do here. So I'm going to create a variable called, let's say, query client set equals to new query client. This query client should be come from the Tanstack. So as you can see up here. Okay, and we need to run the query client here. All right, so now here we can put a client set equals to query client, which is this variable here. So the first thing what we need to do is let's go to the pagination, this paginate query. So let's click that. And what we need to do first is I'm going to create this function here. Okay, so let's create that into the another folder. So let's go to the source, and I'm going to create folder called let's say services. Okay, inside the service we are going to create a file called, I want to call this api.jsx. All right, so in here basically I just want to create another component here, and I'm going to call that, let's do untils, I think, inside the source. Let's create a folder called utils, And inside in here, we are going to create a constant variable .jsx, right? So in here, we just need to export a variable called, let's say, item underscore per underscore page. Okay, I just want to showing maybe 6 items for each page. Okay, so now let's go back to API here, and we are going to create a function here, and the function should be have export because we are going to use the function into the products. Okay, so in here we are going to give a name get product list. Okay, set equals to, it should be async await function, so we can say async, and we are going to grab page come from the parameter here, and in here I just want to create a variable called, let's say, response, and we are going to wait for fetch done here. Okay, so in here I'm going to use a backtick, and let's go to JSON placeholder, just this one. I'm going to copy the link and put that right here. Okay, so also here I'm going to add a parameter called page, because as you can see here, you can send page whatever the page you want. So in this right here, I'm going to put the page set equals to page come from the params up here. Okay, so we can say page, because as you can see here, right here, we send the page into the query function, okay, which is this one. Okay, fetch project, we send the page here, so we can use into the fetch project here. Okay, so that's we are gonna do right here, basically, just similar like that. And in here also, I'm going to add limit underscore limit set equals to, it should be variable come from the constant, which is, I forget the name, item per page, right? So we can say item per page, just like that. All right, so down here we need to say const total data. So let's say total data. Basically, I just want to grab all the total data in this fetch here, which is 100. Okay, as you can see in the JSON placeholder here, we have 100 posts basically. Let me see. We cannot see. Oh, this one, right? 100 posts. So we can get that with response dot headers, and we are going to use function called get here, and we get the x dash total dash count, just like that. So down here we can say const, we grab the data set equals to, we are going to say await for the response.json. Okay, just like that. And down here we need to return, we're going to create a key here called, let's do products. I cannot type in products. This is going to be data, and also the total data, it should be total data as well. If we have same name, just remove the here, just put total data. It's the same basically. All right, so now let's go back to the products here, because we are going to fetch the data inside this products components. Let's go to the documentation here. All right, so the first thing is we need to create variable called is loading, is error, and all this value, and also we are going to set that equals to use query. Okay, so let's do right here. So we can say const, and just now let's grab the data. I think set that equals to use query. Okay, the use query should become from Tanstack Query, and in here we are going to put an object. Okay, and also I'm going to say query function, it should be, let's put arrow function here, and we are gonna call the function that we create into api.jsx here, which is get product list. So we're gonna put that right here. Okay, just make sure you import right here. And also we need to send the pages here, okay, which is the current page. So we don't yet the current page, so let's create that up here. So let's say const current page, and also the set current page. Okay, set equals to use state. By default it should be, let's say, 1. Okay, by default it should be on the page 1. Basically up here I'm going to create the query key, so we can say query key it should be, I'm going to give a name, let's say post, I think post, and then in here I'm going to send the current page. Okay, just like that. So basically you can see all the value here with DevTools. So you can use the DevTools here if you want. So let's just install that. So I'm going to copy this command here, paste that into the terminal. And to use that is very simple. We just need to copy this import here. Let's go through the main. All right, the main here. We need to paste that right here. And also to use that is pretty simple. Let's see here. As you can see, you need to just copy that and paste that in here. Just make sure you put that inside the query client provider. All right, so now we can say npm run dev again, and I can close this and see into the project here. As you can see, basically we have post and then one, and then we also get the value, I believe. As you can see, we get the products and also the total data, like we did it into the API here. We send the products and also the total data. As you can see, this is the product come from the post one. Okay, it should be different value if you into the post comma 2, all right, which is the pagination page 2, right? So as you can see, if I click here, the ID should be 1. As you can see here, ID 2, right? If I change the current page into, let's say 2 here, okay, this is going to be 2, right? This one, and the get product list, it should be start from 2. Now, as you can see here, when I refresh, we get the post and then page 2, and also here we can see the products. As you can see, it's going to be start from, why this is start from ID 1, ID 2. I think we have something wrong here. So let's go back to API, and as you can see, basically here we need to add equals. So when I save and if I refresh, as you can see, the post 2, it should be have let's see data and then products. It should be start from 7. Okay, 7 and then 8 and so on. All right, so everything looked perfectly fine now. So let's close this API, and what we need to do now is basically I'm going to get the is loading. Let's say is loading, and I'm gonna grab the is error and also the error. Okay, so here let's handle all of the loading and is error here. So I'm gonna put that right here, so we can say if is loading to true, I'm going to return just text call loading. Here we go. And also if we have something error happen, so let's say is error, you need to return. I'm going to use backtick here, let's say error, and I'm going to put the error here. So let's do error dot message. So now instead of send the products into the product list here, we need to send the real data, which is the data dot products. Okay, so we can say data dot products, just like that. So now we need to remove all this array here. All right, so now let's save and let's take a look. As you can see, guys, we have the data here. So it should be, let's close this, it should be start from 1, so we can change that to 1. All right, cool. So the next thing is, let's go to pagination here, and I'm going to send the current value here. So let's say current page set equals to current page, and also I'm going to send the total item set equals to data dot total data, I think. Let's also send function call on page change. Okay, so that equals to, it should be arrow function here, and I grab the page, and in here I'm going to set the current page into the page. Okay, just like that. And let's format the document so you can see clearly here. So you send the current page, total item, and also on page change function here. Okay, so now let's grab all the params here inside the pagination. Let's open the pagination inside the components and click the pagination here, and here we can grab that. We can grab the current page and also the total items and also the on page change. All right. So basically here, I just want to add on click event here. So let's do on click. That equals to, should be running function called handle previous click. Okay. And also for the next button here, I'm going to add on click. And this is going to be a running function called handle next click. So let's create the function up here. So let's say this is function for handle previous, let's say click set equals to arrow function, and this is going to be run the on page change, and I'm going to put the current page and decrement by 1. Okay, and also let's create that up here. This is going to be handle next click, and this is going to be running the on page change, and it's going to be current page decrement by 1. And also for the current page, I'm going to put that right here. So let's put the current page like so. So now let's go back to the final project here. And as you can see, guys, we see the page 1 in the first time. When I click this, it should be on the page 2 now. But the card here is like a splash, as you can see here. Okay, you don't want to see that, right? But before we fix that, I just want to add the loading here when we fetching. Okay, when we're not fetching, I don't want to see this loading spinner. Let's go back to the products, and I want to import the isLoading, not isLoading, isFetching. Let's do isFetching here, and I'm going to put isFetching down here. So let's do down here. Okay, if the isFetching is true, we need to run the loading spinner just like that. And else I'm going to just say null here. As you can see, when I reload and I'm going to click the next, you not see the loading here because the page is like a flash here. Okay, how to fix that? So let's go back to the pagination documentation here, and as you can see, we need to let's see here, better paginate queries with keepPreviousData. So you can read what is keepPreviousData in here. So basically, this is not going to be like splash your pagination here. Let's make the previous data still right here. Okay, so that's what we need. So let's copy the keepPreviousData, and we need to put that right here. Okay, so inside the use query, so we need to put here keepPreviousData. We need to set that to true. Okay, this is really important. Let's go back, and I'm going to refresh. And as you can see, if I click here, right, no flashing, and that's what we want. As you can see down here, we have also the loading. Okay, if I want to see the loading better, I can add the network here. I'm going to change that to fast 3G, I think, and I'm click that, and as you can see, we have the loading here. Right, that's cool. And the next thing I'm going to do is when I on the page 1, I need to, the previous here, it should be disabled, right? So how to do that? So let's go back to the pagination. So in here, we can say disable, so that equals to, if the current page equals to 1, you can use three equals here, and let's say 1. And when I save, let's go back here, as you can see, it should be disabled. And how about the last page? So we can use this total item. So let me showing you here. So basically, I'm going to create a variable called page count. Page count is basically like all the pages that are available into this pagination. Okay, so in here, I'm going to use math tail, and I'm going to divide the total items. I'm going to divide it by let's say item per page. Okay, we know total item it should be 100 divided by 6, it should be 16.6, right? So 16.6 with math tail, it should be 17, right? But the last page, it should be 17. So now I'm going to send the disable here, and I'm going to set that to current page, set that equals to the page count. So now let's go back to the browser here, and I'm going to click after we get a 17, and I hope the next button it should be disabled. All right, it should be disabled here. Okay, that's mean it's working. And the last thing I'm going to showing you is we need to use isPreviousData here. Okay, why this is important? Because as you can see here in the final project, I'm going to make my internet connection really slow, which is 3G slow. Let's go to the network, and the internet here, I'm going to set that to slow 3G. And as you can see, if I click the page to the next button here, as you can see, before the fetching done, we can click the next button. As you can see, when I click this, we can click that couple times before this is done. Okay, it's not good, right? So what we need to do is we need to use isPreviousData. So we can import isPreviousData. So let's go back to products, and here we can grab isPreviousData. So we can say isPreviousData. Okay, and basically we need to send the isPreviousData into the pagination, so we can put it here. So isPreviousSdata set equals to isPreviousData. So in pagination we can grab that here, so we can say like so. All right, so I'm going to format the document so you can see clearly here. So we import the isPreviousData, right? So we can use isPreviousData right here into the disable. So basically we can say or here and put the isPreviousData, and also right here we can say or and put the isPreviousData. All right, so now when I go back here and when I click this, as you can see, it's disabled. Right, after it's done, we can click that next. All right, it's disabled, and then after it's done, we can click. All right, that's improvement that we can get from the React query, and this is really helpful basically. So yeah, I think that's it. And I hope you can implement that into your next project, guys, and hope this helpful, by the way. So thank you so much for watching and follow along this video. Thank you so much, and see you in the next one.